Welcome back to the Adventures with Sara P podcast. I am your host, Sara P, a 19-year-old girl trying to figure out this whole adulting thing through life's adventures. And today, I am so excited to share we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Alison.
This is Alison. We have been friends for a few years now. We met through pageantry, and I'm currently competing in a pageant, so I thought, what better way to do this is to have one of my pageant friends be on the podcast episode. So do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Alison. I am 20. I'm currently a junior, kind of a senior in college. I'm graduating early.
Ooh.
I'm doing my flight training. I'm going to be a pilot, go to the military. That's just a little bit about me.
Yeah. So how old were you when you started in pageantry?
I was 9 when I got a letter in the mail from National American Miss.
Yep.
And then I went to the open call, and the first time I competed, I was 10 though.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was around 7 or 8
Mm-hmm.
when I started too. And I thought it would be great to talk about confidence because that is all National American Miss is really about, is just gaining confidence, gaining life skills. And so this week, Alison is not competing, sadly. Boo! Boo! But I am, and so just like this week so far, like I've been able to notice like a difference in my confidence, and so I know you've done well previously, so I thought we could share some tips and just your story with your experience with confidence, because when I started out with NAM, I was very shy. I was like a wallflower. I couldn't go up to anyone. I couldn't like hold a conversation. So was that the same way for you?
Yeah, 100%. When I was younger, I could not talk to anyone. I swear I was like mute.
Yeah.
It was not good, but competing in National American Miss with like the personal introduction competition and interview,
Mm-hmm.
and just the rehearsals, even getting to talk to other girls helped me so much. And even now, I'm still shy. I think that's just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I can carry a conversation with anyone if I really wanted to.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Yes. For me though, I think like I've noticed it like a lot more recently because I started focusing more on myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't listened to the last episode of the podcast, I talked about Alison because she sent me a text because I was a little curious about who I would be competing against with everything. And do you want to say what you texted me?
I don't even remember. I think I just said like focus on yourself, like
Yeah.
you're your own competition.
Yes, that was it, like word for word. And like when I tell you, like my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because it just like hit me that like I feel like in previous years like I've been like, oh, like what is she doing? Like what am I doing differently? Like how could I be better? And just like comparing myself in that way. And I feel like so far like I haven't had that mindset, and I've noticed like a big difference on stage, and like even like texting my videos to like my friends or like my mom's friends, they'll be like, oh my gosh, like you are so confident.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I owe that to you. So no matter the outcome of this week, like it is
Yeah.
all you, girlfriend.
Honestly, I had to learn that lesson like the hard way, I guess.
Yeah, same.
It's so tough in pageants, especially because everyone posts online, oh, I'm
Mhm.
doing this with my title, and it's so hard not to compare yourself. That girl's headshot is like drop dead gorgeous.
Yep.
But like when you're competing, it really is all about you. And when you just like have fun and don't worry about, oh, this girl just had a killer walk, you know,
Yep.
now I gotta top that. But just being yourself, like you can top that no
Right.
matter what.
Yeah, I would definitely say too, like it's hard because I feel like I like compared myself like just like looking at people, but especially pageant weekend, like that's when it sinks in,
Mm-hmm.
where you're like, oh my god, like her hair looks so good, like
Yeah.
she's like gonna place well. And it's like, yes, but like you also like don't know how it's gonna go, because like even in diving for me, like you can have like 2 good dives and the other 4 could be bad, and like that's the day, like that's just how
Yeah.
it goes. And so just remembering like to focus on yourself, and like if you're gonna do good, like just remembering that like that's all that matters, is just doing your best. So for me, I don't know if you've heard about my new definition of confidence, but it's performing without a guarantee of like the outcome. And so for me, that like really shifted my mindset of just like, no matter what happens, like you can't control what the judges say, as long as you do your best, that's all that matters. So I wanted to hear your take on that.
Yeah, well, just like relating it back to pageantry, I remember I always used to care so much about what other people thought of my performance. Like as soon as I walked off stage, I'd be like, Mom, how was that? Like, what did I mess up? But then when I started to like switch my mindset to just like be proud of however it went. Even if I made a mistake, just know that like that's not the end of the world.
Right.
There's so many times that girls trip and they still win and all these things. So just knowing that as long as I'm confident in my best in myself, then that's all that you can really ask for, because on a different day with a different set of judges, you know, there's gonna be a different winner. Even like an hour later, there could be a completely different winner. So you just can't get too caught up in that. And I feel like pageants are just more about the experience than just winning a crown.
Yeah, like winning is great. It's
a
great feeling, right? Yeah. But I feel like, especially with NAM, like it's all about those life skills. And so like for me, like I've noticed when I like took my public speaking class last year, like I just like wasn't nervous. Like I like had my note cards.
The same thing happened to me with my speech class.
Yeah.
My professor was like, Alison, you don't even need this class. Like, why are you here? Because they have to.
Right, yeah.
My tuition dollars they're paying for it.
Same. Yeah. But it was just like, well, we had note cards. And so like for spokesmodel and personal intro, like you have to memorize it. And so like, yes, it was like a 5-minute long like speech that you had to present, but you had note cards. And so I was like, oh my gosh, piece of cake. Like this is so easy. And so like just like that's how I've like noticed it so far. And then like in job interviews when I'm like applying for internships, even though I haven't gotten any yet, it's fine. Yet. So I've just like noticed like how I'm able to like hold myself and like do those interviews has like made a difference. And I believe it's all because of NAM. So like how have you noticed how the pageant world has affected your like day-to-day life?
Well, definitely in the same way that you just said. Like my speech class, it was just a piece of cake, because when I would watch my classmates, my professor would emphasize, like, make sure you're looking around the whole room and talking to everyone, not just, like, right in front of you.
Right.
And I would do that.
Yeah.
But even just, like, in life, I don't know, like, I've always just been super quiet, but I know that, like, meeting new friends and, like, new people, I can just carry a conversation about, like, anything. Like, what's your favorite color? And then we can just go down that rabbit hole.
Actually, yeah.
You could just talk about anything. And that's honestly been one of my favorite parts of pageantry, is just like meeting new people, like making friends like you.
Aww.
Like, it's so cool, because I feel like that honestly made me more confident than just like interview.
Right.
Just being able to relate and talk to other girls my age.
Yeah, definitely. And like I just like think back to like my first time competing at NAM. I met this girl named Tabitha, and we're still friends today. Like the connections are actually like so genuine. It's like crazy to me. Yeah. So I'm like hoping I'm in your wedding.
Oh,
when
of
the
course.
day comes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What's it called? Best woman? Maid of
honor.
honor.
Maid of honor. Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry, guys. I'll be there. Yeah, but it's definitely, I feel like for a while there, like pageantry had like a really bad rap, and I feel like it might have been because of toddlers and tiaras. Yeah. Which like again, like if that is your thing, totally fine. Like you do you. But I think like the way people perceived it was just like not in a positive light that pageantry is. And I feel like finally like pageantry is becoming more of a like well-known, like socially acceptable thing. Because I remember like telling my friends in gymnastics, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm competing in a pageant. And they were like, what? And they're like, oh, like, okay. But like now, like I'll tell my friends like, oh yeah, I'm competing in a pageant. And they're like, oh my God, that is so cool, like that you do that. So I just think like I'm glad it's getting a better rap.
Me too. Definitely when I would tell people that, oh, I did pageants, I used to not tell people unless they asked.
Same.
Like they would see on my Instagram like, Alison, you do pageants? Yeah, you didn't ask, so I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
But now when I tell people, they understand it a bit more. It's not just like, oh, you're competing to see who's the prettiest.
Right.
Like, it's not that at all. Like you win scholarship money in some pageants. It teaches you real life skills, how to be confident, how to command a room, and I don't know, pageants have been so beneficial, and I wish more people would, like, take a chance and do it, even just once. Right. Competing just once, like, a 2-day pageant, I think maybe change your life is, like, a big statement, but it would change a lot, I think.
It would change a lot, yeah. Like, even if I didn't come back back after my first time competing at NAM, I definitely think, like, it built something in me where I was like, yeah, like, I am who I am, like, that's enough. And so I feel like, yes, like, it's great to come back, and because, like, you know, it is competitive, and, like, it feels great to win, but I definitely think, like, yeah, like, just trying something new is great. Like, I've talked about that here before. It's just, like, going out of your comfort zone, like, you're never gonna know until you try something. And so like for me, like I'm trying something new with formal wear, like in my walk, and so like it could go really well or it could go really bad, but like I'm not gonna know until I try. And so like just like little things like that I think has like helped me even like in pageantry, just like going for like new stuff like that with like optionals too. Like I can't do casual wear, so like I did it once when I like came back with Nam, like after I took my break. Didn't go well, but you know what, I tried it. I was like, this is fun. I didn't know what I was doing, and it's not for me. I can't do it how you do it. You do it great, but you know, just like trying like stuff like that, I think Nam has really like helped me in.
Well, this is kind of like random, but it relates. My mom would pick out my outfits for pageants. She would help me. She wouldn't pick them out. I could wear whatever I want.
Right.
But I would always have on like kind of a funky outfit because I never wanted to look like other girls. And even just I've noticed in school, like in high school, I cared so much about just like everyone's wearing Birkenstocks, and I have to. Everyone's wearing the Nike shirts and the t-shirts, and so I have to. But in college, I just wear whatever I want. Like I'll wear the most fun pants ever. And everyone's like, Alison, I love your outfit. Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
because
I love
like
that.
in high school, I didn't have, I guess, the confidence to wear whatever I wanted and just kind of express myself in that way.
Right.
But being able to do that in pageants helped me do that now. And so I just wear whatever I want. Like this outfit that I'm wearing now.
It's so cute though. If you're not like watching on YouTube, she's wearing like a little green romper.
It kind of looks like a little painter's outfit.
It does, but it's like so cute. Like if it was blue and like you could like put like handprints on it. Have you seen Lexi Hidalgo do that?
Yeah.
That would be cute. That would be really cute. But I love it. Like I feel like it's like very you. Like green is very your color.
I do like green.
And I'm like so I'm like glad that you said that, because I feel like for me, I was in a similar boat just because in high school, like I didn't really have a lot of friends, so I kind of just like wanted to blend in and not stand out too much. And so I also did that. And then when I like left for college, like I kind of was like, I can do whatever I want. Like this is my world.
Any expectations of you.
Right. Yeah. And so then like they're like the first week of school, like I'll dress like cute and like spunky, and then after that it's like sweatpants.
I definitely still wear like my sweatshirts. But
well, like I've like now found like with like Maryland, it's just cold, and so like I had to like adjust my wardrobe for that. So like last year, like don't want to talk about the wardrobe, but this year I was like, let's wear like funky sweatpants, like incorporate that. And I've noticed that too, where I'm like, it doesn't matter what like people think, but then I show up with like soaking wet hair to class, and then I like see the eyes and I'm like, I just came from practice, guys, like don't mind me. So like there is sometimes still where I like notice that I'm like paying attention to what people think, and I like shouldn't be, but it's definitely not what it was. So I'm glad you mentioned that was a good point. But I really just want to talk about confidence, because like for me that's like the one thing I've really noticed this week, like so far, and just like recently, like talking with like my mom or like my therapist, just them being like, you have this like aura about you. And I feel like you've had it for a while, because like when you won back in 2019, when I like first came back with Nam after my few years off, like I could just like I wanted to be you, because you just like had that like presence of like just like being the queen and just like walking on stage so confidently. So I feel like you've had like a lot more experience with it. Like I don't know if you've noticed it, but like I've noticed it, like, and it's just like, I don't know, like it's just something that I was like, I always wanted, and like now that I have it, like I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. So like
nice.
So like how do you like manage it, just because like there are some times where like you get nervous, but like I felt like you still handled like your confidence so well. So like how did you do that?
Honestly, I don't know. I've never been the type to like get nervous. I don't know, because I feel like it's not in your control really.
Right.
I mean, like I know that I can give my personal intro or walk on stage, but I think the confidence thing, when I was younger, I definitely didn't have like a much of a presence. But I think that comes with time in pageantry. And now I think it might sound a little selfish, but I just like worry about myself.
Okay.
And I think that has helped me so much. And I don't really know. I think I'm kind of like in my own world usually when I'm competing. Like obviously I'm still there to, have fun and make friends, but I don't stress so much on the little things.
Okay.
And I think it also comes with preparation. Like, when you know that you've practiced so hard.
Right.
That, like, I know I can do it. It's just a matter of, like, getting on stage and actually doing it.
Yeah, that's how I feel, like, in diving. I don't know, I feel like I'm more, like, I practice more for diving, so, like, that's where, like, I relate it to the most. Because, let's be honest, this, like, past year, like, I have not really been practicing for this. Like, yes, like, my speech is memorized. Like, yes, like, I, like, have my walk down. But, like, I've had so much schoolwork. Like, it is insane. And just, like, being in season, it's been hard. So, like, I'm just hoping for the best at this point. But, like, for diving, like, you bring up a good point. Like, I can practice, like, as much as I can, like, for a meet. But then, like, it doesn't really matter until I'm, like, up on the board. And so that's when I, like, really, like, zero in is when they, like, say my name. They're like, Sara Parksville doing a 105C. And then, like, everything just, like stops. And it's just, like, I'm in the moment. So maybe I'll, like, try and, like, do, like, bring that to being on stage tomorrow. Because I'm, like, trying to get these, like, tips also, like, in a selfish way for me. I'm like, so, like, what is your biggest tip? Yeah, but I think that's, like, a really good point. It's just, like, again, not focusing on others and just, like, being in the moment. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to being backstage with my dad and just like being able to, like, get some, like, last minute things from him and just, like, remember to, like, walk slow, make eye contact, all that. So do you have any last minute tips for me besides focusing on myself?
Let's see. Put me on the spot here.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel like everyone always says, like, focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I used to get, like, really annoyed when everyone was like, focus on yourself. Like, just be you.
Yeah. It's really hard because it's such a true piece of advice.
Yes.
And you don't realize how important it is until you can actually, like,
do it.
Just believe in yourself.
No, because I remember, like, stalking, like, Instagram pages when I was, like, younger because I wanted to be a national queen so bad. And I would just be, like, I would, like, find their interview, like, questions, or, like, I'd, like, go on their lives. And then I'd, like, go on their lives and be like, what's your biggest tip? And they'd be like, my biggest tip is be yourself. And I'm like, that's, like, not helpful. But that was because, like, I didn't understand it. And so, like, now that I do, I'm like, you are so right.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was annoying to hear it, but, like, I didn't, like, pick up on it and, like, listen to it for myself. And I, like, really wish I had because I feel like that would have made a world of a difference.
Yeah. I think the year that I won, it took me 7 years.
I remember your photo.
And I think what I did differently that year is, like, I had fun, which is another annoying piece of advice.
Right.
But I think it's so true when you're not so worried about having a perfect answer or a perfect walk. The judges can see that. They can see that you're just genuinely there to have a good time, to learn and to grow. And I think that makes the biggest difference. You can tell sometimes, most of the time, when girls are walking on stage and they're just like
so
robots.
Focused,
And it's like, just take a deep breath and relax because, like, it makes the biggest difference.
Okay.
And I think that's what helped me most.
Yeah, I think I've noticed that when I did spokesmodel the other day, like, I, like, wasn't focused on anyone. Like, I was just like, I know this speech. Like, as long as I, like, go up there and say it, like, I'll be fine. And so, like, backstage, I was, so at my last meet, we, like, watched film, and I was, like, not running, but I was, like, jogging, like, behind the board, like, while the person in front of me was going, and everyone was like, oh, Sarah's getting ready for her turkey trot. And so I think that's, like, what I did like, I kind of, like, black out when I'm, like, giving it, because I'm just, like, going off memory of, like, what I said. But I'm pretty sure I was, like, jogging backstage, like, catching my breath, like, getting all the nerves out. And so I'm going to be doing that tomorrow for formal wear. I'll just be, like, jogging backstage in my gown. Because I think, like, that helped me, like, get the nerves out and just, like, focus and, like, have fun. But then, like, for interview and stuff, like, I have to talk to people. Like, I have to get the nerves out and, like, go have fun and be like, so what question are you hoping for today? And stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll definitely remember to keep doing that this week.
Yeah, just, like, relax.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's, like, not that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah. Also, like, one girl, like, walks away with the crown, but we all walk away with, like, the experience and the friends and all that. So I think that's also important to note. Like, if you don't walk, like, there's an invisible crown on your head, like, every single day that you get to put on. And so I feel like just remembering that, like, yeah, it would be great to have a crown and banner, but after the year, like, what are you going to do with it? Like, where's yours now? Like, in a box?
In a box under my bed.
Right, yeah. So it's just, like, important to know, but, like, you still walk around with that crown, like, on your head invisibly, and you're just like, I'm a queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, just, like, remembering, like, my friend says that queen energy, like, just, like, having that on stage. So that's my, like, biggest tip is just, like, having that, I think, like, on stage and off stage. It's just, like, you also never know who's watching you. And, like, while the judges aren't, like, judging you, like, if, like, they see you in the hallway and you're, like, talking to someone, or if you're, like, practicing and you, like, just hold your head up high, it's, like, they can, like, tell that, like, on stage if you keep that going. So I think that's also really important.
Yeah. I think other than just, like, the relaxed thing, my last piece of advice is, like, I don't know if this is necessarily advice,
Okay.
but just if you are, like, genuinely proud of yourself, it's so hard to be disappointed at the end.
Yes.
Even if you don't get that crown. And again, like, that has made such a big difference in, like, competing for me, because obviously you want to win. That's why everyone's here, but most of the time it doesn't happen.
Right.
And so
yeah, the odds are not in our favor ever.
It's like, you have like a 1 in 80 chance.
Yeah.
It's very slim, but I don't know, like, I never have been disappointed other than when I was like 9 and I didn't win. But yeah, just know that you did great no matter what.
Right. I think that was my problem with state, is I was so disappointed to have not made top 5 again, that I, like, really let it get to me. And I always, like, so far this week I've walked away and I was like, there's nothing I would change. Like, I'm so happy with how I did. Like, that was good enough for me, and so I'm definitely going to bring that in to the required competitions. It's just, like, getting off the stage, like, be happy with it. Like, also, too, like, I'm just trying to take this week as, like, to be as grateful as possible, because I didn't even know I was going to be able to compete or not. And so, like, being able to compete is just, like, such a blessing, and I'm just, like, so grateful for that, like, to, like, let alone. And so, like, I think I just need to, like, stop worrying about, like, the little stuff that it's, like, I'm competing tomorrow. Like, there's, like, I'm not going to remember the little stuff anymore. So I think doing that is super important. Like, in life, too, like, going into an exam, like, I found, like, for me to be, like, most successful when I take an exam is, like, I just have to walk in there knowing I know what I know, and then, like, writing down that information, not second guessing myself, and just, like, being happy with whatever happened, because normally I do really well when I do that. So I've just, like, learned to do that. So, like, how would you use that, like, your tips, like, in your day-to-day life?
Sometimes I don't.
No, that's so valid.
I feel like it's, when I'm in the pageant world, it's so easy for me to be confident. I think I'm just, like, a different person.
Well, you're surrounded by such good people, too.
Yeah. And you just kind of feed off of everyone, I feel like. At least I do. But in life, I don't know, I don't study.
Oh my gosh, I wish. I actually wish. That must be so nice.
Yeah, okay, so I am, like, doing my flight training, and that's, like, its own type of hard.
Right.
Not falling out of the sky.
Not crashing the plane.
I don't know, I just try to remind myself that, like, I know all of my procedures, my checklist and everything, and...
Right, because, like, if you start to panic, like, it's not gonna go
like,
well.
I know my stuff.
Yeah.
And I just remind myself of that all the time. Like, I'm so much better than I think I am. Like, you're your own worst critic, and so... I don't know, I just remind myself of that a lot.
I, like, can't imagine flying a plane. That's crazy.
I brought my headset and stuff, so maybe this weekend.
Oh my gosh, stop.
I think my dad and I are gonna go fly and get lunch.
Oh, I love that. Where are you gonna go, Georgia?
I don't know, we might go to the Keys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bring me back some fries. Yeah, so, I, like, try and just, like, relate everything, like, back to, like, normal stuff, because, like, with diving, like, not everyone dives, so it's, like, I try and, like, bring it back to, like, school, and then, like, not school, like, I'm just, like, my day-to-day life. Yeah, but I definitely, like, have noticed that, too, like, just, like, in general, like, just, like, walking to class, I'm, like, I'll, like, tying your shoe is, like, one of the most embarrassing things, like, ever.
Yeah.
And so, like, my Nike shoes, like, one of them is always untied, and I always have to tie it, and I, like, get so embarrassed to do it, but I'm like, everyone has to tie their shoe.
No, I struggle with that too. I'm embarrassed of, like, the smallest things.
Yeah.
Last year, like, at the beginning of this year for Lent, I gave up being embarrassed of silly little things.
I love that. Yeah.
And it's just, like, it's kind of similar to the don't say no thing, just, like, say yes.
Yeah.
I would just do whatever I want. Like, there's so many things that I always wanted to do, but I was just too embarrassed.
Really?
Like, eating alone at lunch at school.
Okay,
I could not do that.
Yeah.
It was
I
so
struggled
hard.
with that, but, like,
no one cares.
No one cares.
You're just
and like
one small person.
right. And for me in high school, like I like didn't surround myself with like the best people. And so I started to realize that, and I was like, would I rather sit by myself and just like be by myself, or would I rather sit with these people and look like I'm like with company? And so eventually I was like, I'd rather just like sit by myself.
Like in high school, I was just like, sitting by myself is the end of the world. Like I have to sit with the biggest group of friends. But in college, I enjoy eating alone.
Oh my god, me too. Me too.
Good, I get dinner to myself.
Yeah, I'll like pop the veggie nuggets in the air fryer, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to just like sit and watch Gilmore Girls like on the living room floor by myself. I'm like, this is like me time. So that's like another thing too, is just like for me, like I've noticed too, not so much with pageantry, but just like spending time by myself has like really helped me like get to know myself better.
Yeah.
Which has like in turn helped me in pageantry, and just like spending time like doing things that I like. Like I didn't know how much I really enjoyed reading. I like am currently reading like kind of a bad book, so it's like not as much fun, where I'm like I guess I could read, but like I like truly like can just read a book so quickly. And I think like in elementary school, in 3rd grade, before I got diagnosed with my auditory processing disorder, my teacher just told me to read more because that would cure me. That's not how it works.
No.
So I like hated reading because I felt so stupid doing it. And so like now that I've like been diagnosed and I've been like dealing with this for a while, like I like know how to read better and like what things normally trip me up and like how to work around them. And so like now that I have this like love for reading, I'm like I love reading. And so like I wouldn't have learned that if I hadn't spent time by myself. And so I definitely think like spending time with myself has like helped me like be who I am, but it's also helped me in like pageantry for like interview and stuff and like prepare for that.
Yeah, I have learned to be my own best friend.
Yeah.
Because my roommates, my first years of college, they were athletes
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. So they were always like on their little softball tournaments or whatever, and so I had to learn how to amuse myself when they were gone. And so I started running and going on hot girl walks, I go to the beach by myself to like roast in the sun.
Yeah.
I'll go get an acai bowl,
Yep,
like walk around the mall, like those things, like they make me happy, and I do them by myself. And I don't know, I think everyone has to learn how to be their own best friend, because it's so hard to like rely so much on other people, but when you learn to just like make yourself happy, it changes everything.
Yeah. Well, and also like people like come and go in your life, like not everyone's gonna be there like your whole life, and so like but you will, like you are gonna be there from day one to the end. So I think definitely just like getting to know yourself is really important. Yeah, I agree. I love hot girl walks.
Me too.
They're like hard in Maryland though, because like it's like getting cold and I can't like walk outside, but I also like don't want to like have to walk over to the gym or like drive over. So I just,
the gym still scares me. I haven't worked up the confidence for the gym yet.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
I walk in there with my athlete gear, so I know no one's gonna say anything. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Please don't talk to me.
I need to go buy some athlete gear.
I'll give you some of mine. It'll just say Towson on it. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, she's a diver. She knows what's up.
Yeah. Well, in that too, like I'll like walk in because our pool is at the gym, so I like walk in and like athletic clothes, but then I have like flip flops on, and people are like staring at me like, what is she doing? I'm like, I have practice. Like,
no, I saw there was someone on the treadmills one day in front of me doing a mile in Crocs.
That's impressive.
I know. He was going so fast too.
Crazy.
I swear he was probably running like a sub 6-minute mile in Crocs.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, so much respect. I couldn't do it though.
Yeah. The gym is also very intimidating, and so like I've also been trying to work on too, like for me, like my body image. Like I would go to work out because I wanted to look good, not because I felt good working out. And I feel like with yoga, I've seen like a difference. But I'm like, I want to go teach yoga because I enjoy like doing that, not because I want to look good.
Yeah, I kind of am the same, but with running. Like, I don't run to be the fastest person ever. Like, the run talk thing, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos, but those girls are so fast. They're doing marathons in like 5 minutes.
Where she was like, let's run a 21 mile for my 21st birthday.
Yeah,
like, I saw that.
I cannot do that, but I just run because it makes me feel good and I enjoy it. Kind of like hot girl walks too. Yeah. Like, I'll walk for like 6 miles.
Yes!
Like hours some days.
Like put in those like headphones and just like be there with your thoughts. Oh.
Yes. It's just, it's honestly the best feeling.
Yeah, I like miss doing that on the beach. Like that's when I felt like myself was like on the beach, like just like with
I looked
the water.
forward to it every day.
Yeah, especially during like COVID, like that's what I did, and I don't get that in Maryland, and I like miss it. So yeah, but yeah, how is it? Do you have any last thoughts?
I think I said everything.
Okay. We like didn't know how this was gonna go because I've never had a guest before, but I think it went really well.
I think so too. I've also never done a podcast, so I was a little nervous.
Yeah, you can check that off your bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad. I feel like we talked about a lot of good stuff. No idea what I'm gonna title this yet. It's Adventures in something. I feel like it might just be like Adventures in Life. Like
Maybe, yeah.
We talked about a lot, like high school, middle school, now, adulting. Scary. Yeah. I was talking to like with the girls about like how like they're all like graduating college soon. And I was like, how on earth am I gonna convince my mom to let me do pageants like after I graduate college? I'm like, ooh. We'll see. Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time on the Adventures with Sara P podcast.